Hello everyone, Father Hoffa with your weekly installment of Wednesday Walking with the Word. Today in the Gospel, we hear the familiar Gospel where Jesus says that he's not there to abolish the law, but he's there to fulfill it. And he continues after that, and he talks about whoever causes one of these little ones to sin shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. And this past Saturday, I had a great opportunity. CYO sports has been a huge part of my life, and huge supporter of CYO, not only athletics, but also the other programs and academic programs and other extracurricular programs that they host. And they had the CYO Coaches Clinic this past Saturday up at St. Thomas More in Allentown. And so they invited me to come talk about, spirituality and coaching and what it looks like to be a Catholic coach. And one of the things that I talked to them about was the fact that children are sponges. And every action that we as adults do, they pick up. And so I was talking about the fact that, when it comes to the referee on the court, on the field, the umpire, at the baseball diamond, whatever the case may be, but that official is in charge. And the coach listens to what the official says. Whether or not you agree or disagree, okay, you could have a talk with the person, but yelling back at them, being disrespectful, not a good thing, because here's the thing. When the kids go and see that, the adult doing that to a person who is in charge, guess what's going to happen? They're going to find out or think to themselves that talking back to the person who's in charge is okay, because the adult is modeling that for them. And so how can you come to the next practice and a kid talks back and you say, you're not supposed to do that, when you just gave the example that it's perfectly okay to talk back to the person who's in charge because you just did it to the referee at the game. Again, a small little example, but I think a poignant one at that. And so when we think about what Jesus says, that we're not called to lead these little ones to sin, it's that whole reality of we never want to be the near occasion of someone's sin. We never want to be the person who is the one who introduces sin into another person's life, whether it's by our speech or our thoughts or our deeds. And it's important for us to keep custody of those actions so that we can say, what I did was virtuous, what I did was holy, what I did was wholesome, instead of doing things that we look back and say, you know what, that person may not have sinned if I didn't give them that bad example. And so it's important for us to understand what we do on a daily basis and how that makes an impact on people. Jesus, again, came to fulfill the law. And one of the biggest things that he did in that fulfillment was give us example. God showed us through his son how we're called to live out the 10 Commandments, how we're called to avoid the 7 deadly sins, how we're called to live a life of virtue and not a life of vice, and what that looks like and why it's so good, what it does for us, and it makes our lives better. And so today, as Jesus talks about being the fulfillment of the law and not to lead anyone to sin, we take this to heart, we reflect upon it, and we ask God, especially through this Lenten season, to give us the strength that we need and the reformation of our hearts so that we're always giving the best example and knowing that that best example is always the example of Jesus. This has been another edition of WWW, Wednesday Walking with the Word. Continue to walk, my friends. Continue to be faithful, and we'll see you next time. God bless.